How's it going, everyone? It is Thursday, October 31st, 2024. Happy Halloween. Let's take a look at the pick from the last video, which was Affirm. So, pull up Affirm over here. And you can see the stock is fairly flat today, holding its own. But let's take a look at what the market has done overnight. So, the market gap down, gap and go, started to pitter patter. Affirm came back in here, tested its AVWAP-Q, which was support, and it held pretty much all the gains of the prior day. So we got a little bit of sell-off in the morning, and then as soon as the market started to stall, the stock found some support, and it's beginning to rally up. It's getting through this downward sloping trend line. So I'm going to set an alert on Affirm on a buy signal, and I may even add to the position, depending if I see the right market context. So Affirm is holding up pretty well. We have some time after until earnings next week. So why is the market down? Let's get into the market analysis for today. Now, on a longer term basis, again, fundamentally still pretty bullish. The only thing I'm really kind of waiting to see is the earnings, a lot of which so far is coming out pretty good. Overnight, we had Meta earnings, which if I pull up on the chart over here, Meta earnings slightly down, even though they had EPS beats, revenue beats, no change in their guidance from what I saw. So, Meta actually pretty positive across the board. Looks like there was maybe some profit taking at 600. Microsoft earnings and revenues are also up, but they issued some slightly lower guidance. So there is a pretty decent drop here in Microsoft. Now, overall today, you can see the market is down. Tech is down as well. QQQ is down. If you look at semis, if I look at SMH, there's SMH. So tech is down, semis down. So this is a kind of a tech-led drop down over here. Mega cap tech is fairly weak today, obviously driven down by those lower earnings, and even other stocks. Semis are down. There was some negative news on SMCI. You can see that Nvidia is pulling back here after poking out to a new all-time high. So some tech-led weakness today. Now, on a longer-term basis, nothing really has changed today. We're just kind of still churning through some of the earnings. The market is pulling back, and that's actually fine. I wanted to see it find support at the 50 or even above the 50 SMA, which would make me a little more bullish. So here's really the game plan. Now, longer term, we're still bullish. On a shorter term, we know that we still got some mega cap tech earnings. We've got some economic releases coming out tomorrow. We have, just alert over here. Some economic releases coming out tomorrow. We have the election results next week, as well as the FOMC meeting next week. So a couple stuff going on over here. And we are really just waiting to see some of those items out, and we're kind of in the middle of churning through them. So this move here on a swing trading basis provides me an opportunity to find some relatively strong stocks that have relative strength, right? That are holding up in this dip lower. Maybe on an H1 basis would be a pretty good chance. I'm sure this move is long enough to even trigger stocks on a D1 basis. So that is pretty much what I'm looking at. Now, on a day trading basis, so swing tradings, we're just waiting to see what's going on here. On a day trading basis, wait to gap and go, and the market is just kind of churning back and forth, pretty much going sideways, some low probability trading environments. So I'd stick to stocks that have a ton of volume and a ton of pretty organized price action. There's a lot of stocks that are making post earnings moves that have a ton of volume. So let's look at Twilio, for example. This is a massive breakout over here. Let's see if anything is setting up on the intraday chart. It looks like it is. So we have test. You can see these higher lows coming into play. And if I were to draw a trend line, right, we have a trend line just slowly coming in over here. So we got this long bullish cycle. We're just digesting some of those gains. So I'd like to see the stock maybe break above that level here on 82. And then we have a nice about $1 or so room to the highs over there. So, that's a pretty decent one. I like Carvana a lot as well. Stock has been grinding higher. Massive break on heavy volume. I'm actually in the position right now. So here's what I like about Carvana. We had this bullish cycle produce, right? Or a bullish cycle. I mean, you can say produce, but this is the production of the bullish cycle here. Here's the contra cycle. Here's a 1p bullish cycle again produced. And then we have a pretty big bearish divergence where we're hugging the high of the day, not really moving any lower. So lost a little bit of relative strength, but so far this is just a little temporary dip. Not too worried about that. And then I want to see the stock kind of continue to grind higher. So that is what I'm liking for Carvana. Might be my pick of the day. Root is another one that looked good. Now it's starting to sell off. Pretty strongly here. And this could be a nice gap fill reversal play. So you can see the stock produced over here. This bear cycle kind of produced. It was like an okay bear cycle, but then this bull cycle didn't really get anything going. And that told us that, look, now we're going to start to see some selling pressure on the downside. And that's pretty much what we got. We got the 1p bearish cross. We got a sell signal. We got some selling pressure over here. And we're poking through the low of the day. Some volume coming in. All right, so two things that I would do. One, here's a search that you can, if I were just to do a very basic search for today, right? So here's some basic criteria, right? Here's a couple stocks that come in. What's a stock that is strong on a, excuse me, on an H1 basis, and maybe a stock that is, let's see here, maybe also a D1, strength on a D1 basis. Okay, so not super strong. See if there's a stock that's on a trade signal on a D1. All right. Breaks it down a little bit more. And let's see if there's a stock that is maybe in compression right now. Okay. So just playing around with a couple of these things here. What would we like a stock to look like on this day? I mean, above the prior day high would be a pretty strong filter. Yeah, there's not a ton of stocks above their prior day high. So these are some strong ones here, but they might be a little bit too strong. So I don't need anything like that crazy. Yeah. What I'd look for is maybe we look for a stock that is above VWAP today. So has a little bit of relative strength on this shorter term basis. Okay, maybe is on a M30 buy signal, something a little more sensitive. Okay, so we're getting something here. Filter this down. Okay, so a stock like AXB is held up pretty well. Okay, Billy, don't want to touch that. Not crazy about the Chinese stocks and swinging them. Too newsy. CLS actually holding up pretty well over here. Carvana, we saw Dell. Doing okay. Looks like there's quite a bit of resistance coming up on Dell. IONQ is now starting to pull back. Para, we got this long-term trend line break through the 100-day SMA. Piton, that's a nice breakout in the stock. It's looking pretty decent here. This is not really producing, so just gonna set an alert, maybe this downward sloping trend line. See if that gets breached or not. But yeah, I mean, this is what I would do. I just play around with this search, find stocks that are holding up, pretty well. So Roblox, hey, is looking pretty good. This is actually gonna be a pretty nice day trade long, actually. If I, oh yeah, so big breakout over here. We tested this low, test, found support, try to rally up over here. Stock is compressing, really doing its own thing. The clue is that, look, this cycle didn't really produce benign. This bearish cycle didn't really produce benign, but now this bull cycle is starting to produce over here. So if you have two back-to-back benign cycles after a huge move, there might be something to trade over here. All right, so pick for the day. As a day trade, I like. Let's look at this market here on a day trading basis. So we got the gap down. Again, we got a pretty strong move lower. Now we're starting to compress. We haven't really been able to make a new low of the day. And so my bias is that the low of the day is most likely in. This bear cycle, not really producing here. We're hugging the high of the day. So this bull cycle has a chance to get above VWAP over here. Now, if I'm wrong, then this will cross back over and we'll actually test that low of the day. So, the most bearish case is we make a new low of the day and we actually break through the 50 SMA, which I think is unlikely. The less bullish and more neutral case is that we have maybe one more little test of the low of the day, maybe somewhere a little bit higher, and then we surge higher. And then the bullish case is that we absorb the gains and then we actually continue to rally up higher. And this actually ends up being a bullish reversal day. And that's kind of what I'm leaning towards a little bit more. We just haven't got, sellers. This bounce has been taking a little bit too long. Sellers haven't had the chance to really knock this down. But we also haven't had a tall bounce. So, kind of in no man's land right now. I'm looking at the 1 piece cycles here. So I want this bullish cycle to produce. If it doesn't produce, then I'm going to be a little bit more bearish and I'm going to be a little bit more cautious. So pick of the day here. I think I'm going to go with Carvana as your day trade long. So I like here's what I like about the stock, grinding up higher. While the market is actually inching a little bit lower, we got this nice 1-up bullish divergence. We got a ton of volume, clear skies here, some nice little momentum. So I like what I'm seeing in the stock, and that's going to be my pick for today. So thank you for watching, everyone. We're going to take a look at how Carvana did, and we're going to keep an eye on AFRM. Keep looking for relatively strong stocks. If you're not willing to day trade on certain kind of setups, then just stick to the sidelines and look for really nice swing trades that you can take when the market starts to find support. That's it for today's video, and I'll see you all on Friday.